Colorado will get $66 million in education funding that the Trump administration froze at the start of the month, part of $5 billion nationwide that was withheld that will now be dispersed. Democratic Governor Jared Polis had a front row seat to ask some tough questions with the head of the Department of Education just a short time ago, and he did not. Marshall Zellinger is live at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs for us tonight. Looking very dapper in your chair, Marshall. The National Governors Association just invited Ed Secretary Linda McMahon to be part of a Q&A session. Polis led the discussion. What's the toughest question he asked?
I'm channeling that from the seat he was in. Basically, how can governors find out about cuts that they're going to face before they happen? And the answer that Education Secretary Linda McMahon gave from the chair over there, let's just say it wasn't great. Polis led this discussion on behalf of the National Governors Association from this room here at the Broadmoor, ended a couple of hours ago. This is a twice-a-year meeting of governors from across the country. Though I'm told only about 20 had RSVP'd for this summer meeting. Not sure how many were actually in the room for the education discussion. First, Polis thanked McMahon for releasing money suddenly held hostage at the beginning of the month. The Trump administration held back billions for review to make sure that the money would be spent in line with Trump priorities. After thanking McMahon for releasing the money, Polis then asked for a heads up before it happens again.
How can we better communicate to make sure this chaos and uncertainty doesn't occur again around funding and that people know things earlier?
No guarantees for me that we'll eliminate all the communication gaps.
After the discussion, I asked Polis about getting told, no, you're not going to get any notice in case Washington decides to withhold money in the future.
That was worrisome because I don't want to be in the same situation next year where just as the school year is beginning, we don't even know what funds are coming.
Well, don't you have to prepare that way now, given that answer?
Prepare for chaos? I mean, look, I think we've learned that in a number of ways with this administration. It's very unpredictable. Even when actions are taken, overturned by the courts 2 weeks later, it's really strengthened our state efforts around contingency planning.
So what about a special legislative session? Speaking of a contingency plan, Polis tells me that it would only be used to cut funding in the state, not add funding somewhere else, though now that the state's going to get this education money, that's one less worry. He told me if there is a special session, it will be called before October 1st, because that's the day the federal budget year begins, and if there's going to be anything that happens with federal money that would impact what the state would need to do, they would know prior to October 1st and need to make changes before that date. Jenny?
They're trying to find a little bit of uncertainty within the uncertainty, picking at least dates that they can maybe work off of, Marshall.
Sure, and now lawmakers, I guess, if you're watching, are on notice that if you're going to get called for a special session, be prepared to do so in the next couple of months.
Yeah, okay. Marshall reporting for us down in the Springs tonight. Thanks, Marshall.